is a presentation of Real Wise Productions and Comey Media Incorporated. Two grown men having a debate and settling it in a controlled manner, and a man who decides to take his life via suicide. Next on Mentality. Welcome to another installment and edition of Mentality, the place where we are iron sharpening iron in the realm of love, togetherness and brotherhood, health, mental health, and entrepreneurship. I am one half of that team, the co-host of this show, Cole Johnson, and joined as always by the other half of this show, the other co-host, Wize El Jefe. Brother, how you doing?
I have to say I do clean up nicely, that's for sure.
Besides being modest, he's doing well. Okay,
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I feel great, man. I got a haircut. And just looking forward to another great show and everything that we got going, man.
Start today's show, and I also will start this segment of Rundown with the statement from the U.S. News saying that lifelong bachelors, they actually fare worse when heart failure strikes. Now, lifetime marital history appears to be an important predictor of the survival in men tactics with heart failure, but it's more so with men, not so much women. And they're targeting specifically lifelong bachelors, as senior researcher Dr. David Kale, associate professor of medicine at the University of Colorado School of Medicine in Aurora, stated. He says, unlike men, women with heart failure who have never been married do not appear to be a higher risk of death than those of their male counterparts. So my question to you, speaking to a fellow married man, do you believe personally that a man lives longer or shorter being married versus being a bachelor?
Oh man, that's a good question. That's a good question. It depends on the individual, I think. I don't see myself wanting like I think as far as married men, your wife tends to show concern when she knows you're not doing well, or if you tends to have high blood pressure or all these other things. So my wife tends to be on my case when she's noticing that I'm not eating properly, or so I look at it as she's to me, my wife has been a help, I guess. I think for me personally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, mine definitely has been a help, and it's funny. Excuse me. It's funny that we tend to straight up how we think logically as men. We tend to think when our wives do this, we call it nagging, and sometimes even call them naggers. But when you actually have a sober brain and a lucid mindset, you do realize, oh well, yeah, they're doing this for my benefit, so okay, I might as well take heed. Wanted. Almost 3 million male workers in their prime working years are leaving the workspace. Yeah, you heard that correctly. A big reason why many employers are still struggling to find qualified candidates is that the people looking for jobs is now below what it was during pre-pandemic levels. And most of the shortfall in labor force participation can be traced to people 55 years and older, both in men and women, those who retired early during COVID 19 and other risks. But also a less publicized factor is the men ages 25 to 54 have been dropping out of the workforce rate for decades. And their participation rate rebounded somewhat from 2017 to 2019, seeing as unemployment fell and wages increased, but slid during the health crisis and has yet to fully recover despite record job growth over the last 2 years. My question to you, sir, is do you believe men leaving the workplace and workforce is emasculating or liberating?
Liberating. That's my goal, is to leave the workspace. And because there's so many opportunities now that weren't there before, especially in what we're doing with the
Yeah.
content creation and just the way digital content is being consumed and everything. There's just so many more opportunities. Like, you could, like, now it seems like you can make money in your sleep with certain things you can do as far as technology goes. To me, I feel there's so much more opportunity
Yeah.
for you to go into business for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with that. And I think it's liberating, especially if you plan it correctly and you go about it the right way.
Yes.
When we grew up, it was all about, now I know you probably heard it from some members in your family. You grow up, graduate from high school, get that
Get a
diploma, then go
job.
to college, or get a job. If not, go to college, get a degree, and get a better paying job, and work until you're 65 at this one job that you gain. But of course, when we grew as young adults, we learned, well, it doesn't look like these employers want to have 30, 35, 40, 45-year employees. It seems
Yeah.
like they want to move on and find someone else to fill the slot that you put in a lot more, a lot quicker than those our parents' age, and definitely those our grandparents' age.
Mhm.
Now, we're going to Alabama. Now, normally, when we would say that, and you're seeing guys who look like us, normally it's a bad thing. But no, this is actually a good thing because a guy from Bermuda who moved into Huntsville has a mission of helping those in need. And he has something in common with many of the lawns that he mows across his city in Huntsville. So since 2016, he has run a nonprofit called Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service, which they cut grass for free for the elderly, the disabled, on fixed income, single parents, and veterans. And it turns out it's really more than just a lawn mowing business, because because the nonprofit also helps youth in his community and also nationwide, teaching them the values of hard work, discipline, and giving back. Now, when you hear a story like this, how would you feel if someone would be like this person in your neighborhood?
Oh, I would love it. I actually want to be that person in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I would. That's one of the things I'm. Is one of the goals that I have, is to be very involved in my community, to help as much as I can, because you have to give back,
Hmm.
regardless of where you are in stature, or where you at, and you need to give back to your community. It's very important that you give back. And so yeah, I want, that's where I want to be, is be in that position where he's at, where he's able to give back and help the youth and help the community.
You know, when I saw this story, I immediately thought of you, and also immediately thought of your nephew, Bobby J, when I interviewed him for Revelations, and he talked about building a village.
Yes.
And I was thinking, this is a village-like type of men, again, mentality. It's village type mindset where you want to help pull the people in your neighborhood to higher levels of, you know, of showing what hard work does, of showing what kindness does, of showing what generosity does. And in this case, and the reason why I'm pulling this story too for us, what strong masculinity also looks like. You know, because I think one of the things that is missing in our neighborhoods, it could be yours where you are, it could be mine where I am, it could be in many other places, is the fact that we don't have those men that have your thought process of wanting to be in the neighborhood saying, look, I'm blessed and I want you to be a blessing, and I'm blessed to be a blessing. So here we go. You know, let me help you get to a better spot in your life by offering whatever I can to get you there. It is that mentality, it is that understanding, it is that um ethos, I'll put it that way, which produces a life that is richer where you're around. You know, you have richer neighbors, you have richer families, you have a richer community, and then you'll have a richer city if that were to all spread out and basically be like a rocky dropping in the lake, and it takes a ripple effect.
Yeah. No,
But yeah.
no,
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%. And when I mean, and when you mean by richer, it doesn't mean by wealth.
No.
It means by just being able to help develop and grow people.
Right.
It's again, I like what I consider success. Someone else might not consider success. Some people might consider success being wealthy, making all this money. But
Mm.
I consider success being able to make an impact,
Mhm.
being able to impact them with the content that we're creating, the programs that we plan on doing. That to me is success. That to me is being able to leave that legacy so that my grandson could see that, hey, my pop was all about giving back, was all about people, was all about community. And so yeah, it, any way that we can, we try to give back. And when we get to a certain level, we plan on giving back way more to the community.
We're just getting started. Mentality will return. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. What's on E. Dicker's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. you called the cops on me. I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say, and is unabashed to say it. What's on E Digger's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Well, welcome back to Mentality, where this content is made for all men. With Wize El Jefe, I'm Cole Johnson. And in this particular segment, we're going to talk about Jeremy Renner. Now, you may know him as one of the actors on the MCU, as Hawkeye, of course, in Avengers, and in his own series later on called Hawkeye. Now, some of you might know that he ended up suffering a hard to actually explain or understand accident in the new year trying to help somebody. And basically he was trying to help out a snowplow, and the snowplow got a hold of him. So he's been recuperating ever since, and he seems to be trying to get back to life as normal. So why are we talking about him? Well, welcome to Hollywood Style. Well, Jeremy Renner is actually going to be doing an upcoming show. We aired on Disney Plus, and it gives you a behind the scenes things I think about him himself. But he on Instagram posted a behind the scenes photo of a metro bus being renovated as part of the show Renovations. It's teased as coming soon, so don't know exactly when it's going to be coming, but basically he just put himself out there. But he had this horrific accident back in January trying to help out somebody who was stuck in the snow, and unfortunately he had one of those unfortunate nasty accidents. All right, so I guess I'll pose this question to you. Have you risked your own life at all to save someone?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like help people stuck in traffic, or
like scenarios like if you see like if you see a child drowning, or if you're trying to replace a flat for somebody and you're doing it on a busy interstate highway, or you're walking an elderly woman across the street, and people are, you know how people at times in New York can be. New York City,
talk the horn,
yeah.
I can't say I've rescued anybody's life, but I've done good deeds for people. I've helped someone who needed a flat tire. I've helped them change their tire. I've carried bags for the elderly from the supermarket to their car. It's just basic human kindness that I don't know. That's, to me, is. But I can't say I've ever rescued anyone, saved anyone's life. No.
Yeah, and I can't say that either. I mean, and same thing with me. I done random acts of kindness, and of course, acts of kindness that of people that I know that aren't able to do for themselves. I've done that, but I haven't done something so heroic where my life would be in danger as well as the person I'm trying to save. So I tip my cap to Jeremy for wanting to be that type of person. So when you hear his accident that he had last month, what inspiration would you draw from it?
Oh man, it's crazy because I have someone in my life that's really it was an aunt of mine. She actually passed away in the fire years ago when I was a child.
Yeah.
But she actually went, like, the house was burning, and she actually saved the children's life. And her husband was the first one out the building. She refused to leave till all her kids was out of the house.
Right.
So to me, she's always been an inspiration for me. Just she gave her life for her kids.
Yeah.
And so to hear what he did is amazing. Like, anytime you get hurt doing something for someone else, the Lord doesn't, things happen for a reason, man. The Lord makes things happen for a reason. This was his journey. This was his path. And God bless him, man. That's all I can say is God bless him for doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned fire. So I was 8, and the building in which my parents and I were living in was seeing that another building that was basically a driveway away from us was on fire, and the flames from that building was licking ours. And I mean, literally, the flames were licking our house. So I remember. Like I said, I was all at 8. I remember I had to go upstairs and come from upstairs going downstairs. So I remember going downstairs, and I remember feeling this intense heat and having to keep going, and thinking that my father was going to be behind me, but he just waved me off. He's like, just keep going. And he wanted to make sure everybody, every man, woman, and child was out of the building before he left. And that has left an indelible mark in my mind. And of course, thankfully, he survived. He's alive even now.
Yeah.
And it's left an indelible mark, just like your late aunt left on you. I totally understand that. So any setback, sort of like what Jeremy Renner endured, which was more physical than anything.
Yeah.
What lesson did you learn in dealing with any type of setback?
Oh man, how to pick myself back up, man. You know my story. You know everything I've been through. So
right.
So being able to pick myself up and dust myself off and continue to grind and continue to do what I'm doing, man, to me it's a blessing to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And to be able to share my story, to share whatever part of me that will help another person. So it just shows me that regardless of what you go through in life, every struggle, every sacrifice, even the highs, even before the highs and stuff. So you just have to appreciate every moment and take that lesson. Sometimes some lessons are harder than others.
Yeah.
But take that lesson and learn from it and use it to push you to greater heights.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen similar things that you've gone through make other people bitter. And I'll be doggone, you're the same guy who, you want to have life. You want to breathe life in everything. You want to have happiness be shown to others.
Well, because
it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Because at one point I wasn't that guy.
Right.
I'm saying at one point I wasn't that guy. I was wallowing in my suffering and wallowing in whatever grief I was going through. So to be able to snap out of that and turn my life around and not use it as a crutch,
right,
but now use it more as inspiration to help inspire others and to help push me. It's listen, there's people that have given up for less.
Oh, yes.
And I don't knock them. That was their lesson. That was what they were supposed to experience here on this earth. But it wasn't meant for me to quit.
Oh man, you dropped a nugget right there, man. Jeremy, yeah, keep healing, my man, and I love the fact that you have the fight to continue. You're not letting an accident like this make you bitter. You're actually making it better for you, and I appreciate you for that. And we
Definitely.
at Mentality definitely appreciate you for that.
We'll keep you in our prayers, brother. Definitely.
Yes.
Mentality will be back in 2 and 2. If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor,
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
that pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, Wize.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central.
Well, welcome back to Mentality, the show that is about men, for men, and directed toward men. With Wize El Jefe, I'm Cole Johnson, and we talked about someone who did something heroic. Now we're going to talk about a man who decided to take another avenue, one that a lot of people would say is cowardly, one that a lot of people would say is nefarious, and one where a lot of people would disrespect the gesture that this guy did. And the gesture is suicide. And we will discuss that now in Standing in the Gap. So many of you may know the American Idol contestant from way back when, Kelly Pickler. The cutesy Southern girl with the Southern charm, the all shuck spirit, just a straight up Southern blonde belle, really. Well, she married a songwriter that was based out of where I live now in Nashville. His name was Kyle Jacobs. Well, unfortunately, this past weekend, he decided to commit suicide. Now, the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department announced in a statement that Kyle was found dead inside the couple's Nashville area home last weekend, and that his death was and is still now being investigated as an apparent suicide. Now, Kyle was 49, and it sends shivers down my spine because that's the age I am now. And, it just makes me think, wow, I know life can get tough, but I hate the fact that life got too tough for him, that this was the answer that he decided to choose. Well, according to the police statement, his wife, Kelly, she told police that she awoke shortly before the incident and called 911 when she and her personal assistant were unable to open the upstairs bedroom door. And so the Department of Emergency Communications received this 911 call at 1:21 p.m. last Friday. So I will open this now for you. We've had these dark thoughts. I think I'm safe to say that with you. What do you think could have driven him to suicide?
Who knows, man? Who knows what's going on right now with it's so much going on right now. You never know what a man is going through, and that's something that's the reason why we're doing this program and doing this show, is because we feel that men are being under attack. We're not being here. We're not being heard. We're it's always, again, it's people perceive that our value comes from what we can provide. And that's what's really hurting us. That's what's really killing us, is because if you don't have the right paying job, or you don't have the right title, or you don't have this car or that car, or this label or that label, then you're not successful. Then you're not a man.
Right.
And it's ridiculous that our worth has to be shown by what we can provide.
Yeah.
And that's just not right. That's no one else is put under that microscope, under that scrutiny. that scrutiny or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm reminded of a story that my father told me about one of my mother's late friends. Now, she visited my grandfather, and I think at the time she was like 21, maybe 22. And my grandfather was an inquisitive guy. I mean, he wanted to make sure that that he was heard, but he wanted to make sure others were heard too, and he wanted to see how their mentality was. Now, I didn't get a chance to really fully understand that because he died when I was 12. But I know as an adult, I probably would have enjoyed seeing how his mind turned and worked. So I got an understanding of this with the story that my father told when my grandfather asked a woman that I called my aunt. So he says, and he called her daughter, because she was such a close friend of my mother. So he said, so daughter, so what do you see in a man? What would you like in a man? And she piped up and she said, I want a man to be this type of height. And I think it was like over like 6 feet or 6'1". I want this guy to be about 200 pounds, and I want him to live in this type of neighborhood, and I want him to earn $70,000 a year. Mind you, this is 1972 when this conversation is taking place. Not today, not 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, 51 years ago. And so my grandfather shook his head and looked at my mother's friend and said, "Baby, you're gonna be a bachelorette for the rest of your life. You ain't gonna find someone like that." And unfortunately, those words were correct. She died never married. And the story that I got was twofold. The lesson I got from that story is twofold. One, that even I as a man can't look at a woman and just see, okay, well, on the surface, that's all I want in the woman. And the other was, you can't simply put a price tag on a human being, because if you do, you're going to have human beings that are not worth your time and worth your while, and you're going to be meeting people that you're just not going to mesh with them, and or you might actually have a situation like this where you have these standards that are too high for this guy, so impossible, because you only see the external worth of him, not dig into the internal worth of him, and then you miss out on the jewel that is the man. And it's unfortunate. So how can suicide not be the answer?
How could it not be the answer?
Yeah.
It might have been the answer for him. I can't. I'm saying I can't speak. I can't speak for him. It wasn't an option for me.
All right.
I'm saying it was something. Of course, everyone thinks about that moment. Like, I'll be the world will probably. You always have that moment where you're the world would be better off without me.
Yeah.
And I'll be the first one to admit I'm a sucker. I'm a coward. I was too scared to take my own life.
Well, I'll be the second if you're the first, because I'm scared to take my own life too.
I'm too scared. I don't have the balls.
Yeah.
But maybe that was his answer.
Yeah.
Again, I can't knock anyone. I don't know this. I don't know the circumstances.
Right.
But yeah.
Later, we will have Thoughts from the Throne. This is Mentality. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dawk, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for Monday. Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
Running the third and coming home. This is Mentality, where we are the place where we're the ultimate masculine safe space. with Wize and Cole Johnson. And well, you have seen how brothers get along when everything is all cool and all and all gravy, as they say. But what about when that situation isn't that way? How can you actually be when you have aught against your brother? Well, I think we have a good example of how we're supposed to be as men in brotherhood goals. Now imagine if one of your partners goes and they do something that is that has all eyes on him, but it's something that you all did together. How would it make you feel? Well, if in the case of Willie D of the Ghetto Boys, it made him feel a little raw. It made him feel a little bit on the nasty and frayed side. So in their podcast, Ghetto Boys Reloaded, Willie D basically was fed up with Scarface for not including him in the Grammys Hip Hop 50th Anniversary performance where Scarface performed the song Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Well, for those who don't understand how the song is, so this was a Ghetto Boy song. This was not a Scarface song.
Yes.
However, Scarface wrote 3 of the 4 verses in the song. So
his 2 verses and Bill's verse.
Bill's verse, right?
Yes.
However, for Willie D's side, Willie D, of course, wrote his verse.
Of course, yes.
So they took to the mics. One sat on one end of the table, the other sat on the opposite end, and Willie addressed it. And Scarface was initially disagreeing with him about the frustration that it needed not to happen. You know, and Willie was basically saying, well, you know, really, I don't care that you got the glory. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. The issue I have is this is something we made together and we should share that. And it took a minute, and I think to me, in seeing the video, I think Scarface was like, oh, okay, look, yeah, so this was what they asked me to do. I did what they asked me to do. And Willie's stance was, look, no, you should have told him, do another song, do a Scarface song, which Scarface has a few.
Yeah.
You know, so for the 6-minute clip that I saw, tempers got flared and words were exchanged. They never really got hostile with each other, but you definitely tell
they're brothers because they're brothers. They are brothers.
Exactly.
So brothers do fight.
Yeah, but you could definitely tell the energy was disagreeable in the air.
Yeah,
you could definitely tell. But and to your point, they were brothers. They acted like brothers because yes, they do. Brothers do clash, but brothers respectfully clash.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you think Scarface was right, or do you think he was wrong in operating solo and performing Mind Playing Tricks on Me on the Grammy stage?
I understand Willie's point. I get it from Willie's point. I definitely do get it because, like you said, we did this together. You should have been like, yo, if I'm going to do this, if you want me to do this song, then you got to have Willie D here with me. I'm saying, so I understand that aspect.
Yeah.
But then again, I understand where he's coming, where Scarface coming from, because you don't know what the Grammys told him. Like, no, we can't have both of you here.
Right.
But you got to play this song because this is one of the greatest songs in hip hop history.
It is. Yeah.
Regardless of what Scarface has done, Mind's Playing Tricks on Me is one of the greatest songs in hip hop.
Yeah. Yeah. Period. No question. No question.
I don't know if he was. I know I wouldn't have done it that way. I would have probably found some way to get Willie involved. That's just me. But who knows what? Listen, as long as they were able to to hash it out, talk it over,
Yeah. Mhm.
and let bygones be bygones, and that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Listen, Willie D, being brothers, I would hope that if me and you ever have a disagreement,
Mhm.
that we can just come to each other like this. I didn't agree with what you said.
Right.
It really kind of pissed me off. But hey,
Right.
I'm telling you how I feel, and that's it. So brothers fight. That's all I
Yeah,
have
of
to say.
course.
Brothers fight,
Yeah.
and when you have two guys that truly do respect each other,
Mhm.
things might get a little heated, but at the end of the day, they know, hey, this is my brother. We just move on.
Mhm. Yeah. And yeah, I hope the same. You know, if we do have that type of disagreement, yeah, I hope that we could, you know, come to the table and talk and hash this out and and you said let bygones be bygones and just move on with it, and from the standpoint of, yeah, this was a hiccup and a bump in the road, but this isn't going to make us say, okay, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, no.
You know, it'll be like I didn't like what he did, but that's still my brother.
Yep.
You know, that's what I hope, and I believe we're totally on our road, on our way there.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would be much of a problem. If you were in Willie D's position, and if you were in Willie D's position and this happened, how would you confront Scarface?
I don't see anything wrong with what he did it, the way he did it. He did it in he did it on their show.
Yeah,
I get that. Maybe Scarface didn't appreciate that he did it on the show. He might have wanted to done it off air, but at least this way he kind of this is for the whole world to see that, hey, these are two brothers. I think he did it more so that people could see, like, hey, even though we're two brothers and we might disagree. Because if it was really serious, I don't think they would have released it.
Exactly. It would not have aired. Right.
So I don't see no issue with what he did.
Yeah. And I don't either. Yeah.
But I don't know how. I don't know if me and Poppy ever have a situation where one of us might not be happy with what the other one is doing and might air it out on the show. We might. Who knows? We don't know.
I hope that doesn't ever happen with you guys.
No. Listen, that's my brother. That is definitely my brother.
Yeah.
Regardless of, we got other family members that piss us off, so we have something to bond as far as we with what we deal with.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I doubt you two get down like that, really. But yeah, I was actually proud of Willie and how he handled himself, because I really was listening in on the conversation, and I wanted to watch it from the standpoint of conflict resolution.
Yeah.
And the one thing that seemingly we learned when we were growing up was that if a brother or a guy, even if it was a brother, disrespected you, you would throw them hands.
Yeah.
That's what we were taught when we were growing up. You know, forget the talking, forget the airing out the feelings. That's punk stuff. You fool, you mess with me, you pump me out, you emasculate me with this action, you gonna catch these hands.
Yeah.
And I was glad that Willie, being just a little bit older than the both of us, didn't come with that energy. He came with the mature masculine energy of, yo, you're my brother, but you know that was kind of foul.
Yeah.
And this is why it was foul. Yeah. Respect. I grew more respect for Willie when he did that, how he did it.
Yeah.
So obviously you really haven't, I don't think, been in too many of these type of situations with Poppy J. So
no.
Have you ever been in a situation like this where you clash with a close friend or even a brother, like like we saw with Willie D and Scarface?
Not really. It's never really been to that deep, like, because I don't know. It's just a lot of the guys that I do consider my brothers. If it's different, it's like we like we said, we might disagree on something, but nothing to the point where we have to mend fences and all that. It's
right.
It's just brothers being brothers. It's just I've been blessed that I have some amazing friends that I've known for a long time that that yeah, they might say something wrong and I might get pissed and I'll get over it, and I might say something wrong and they get pissed, and or it's especially now at this point in life, is I don't sweat the small stuff, man. Like I don't sweat the stuff that maybe when I was younger I might get upset over. Ego would take over and get me upset, but now I have no ego, man. I don't. It's I don't have time for the energy. I don't have time or the energy to spend on silliness like that. Like I don't have time to be like, oh man, you listen. If I got something I want to express, I'm gonna express it. That's it.
Yeah.
If you don't like what I have to say, that's your opinion. That's your choice. You don't have to like.
Right.
But I'm gonna get off what I have to say and get it off my chest. So I'm not gonna keep it in anymore because it's not worth me getting sick over it. It's not worth me stressing over it. It's just life is too precious and too short for me to be angry over something that could have been settled with some words.
And now, thoughts from the throne. Each of us has 2 minutes to dispense wisdom or talk about what's on our heart, to give it to you man to man. And I will cede the floor to the king and Wize Jefe. The floor, sir, is yours.
All right, I appreciate that. I actually want to dedicate this show to my cousin Nelson Gonzalez Otero, who passed away last week from colon cancer, and he was a great person. He was one of those people that just had a smile on his face all the time. A big wrestling fan like myself. Him and my sister actually were born on the same day, same year. So that he called her his twin. But guys, we really need to check ourselves. We really need to make sure that we get regularly checkups. Especially, I know I need to, because cancer is something that's prevalent in my family. So take that moment to go check yourself out. Get the colonoscopy. Get whatever you have to get done to make sure you catch it at early stages and you're able to combat it. And and he put a hell of a fight up. He did. But he's leaving a wonderful life. You can see he raised two magnificent sons. He's got some great grandkids. So this is for you, Nelson. Rest in peace, brother.
My absolute and sincerest condolences to you. Man. I'm sorry you're dealing with that loss, man. And yeah, of course you already know, man. If you still need to talk it out, doors open, bro. And the ears open.
I appreciate that. No, it's better than seeing him suffer. I'm saying he's really he truly was. It's always they say they take the good ones young, and he still had a lot to offer.
Yeah,
and he was a great guy. He was really one of the good ones.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell with your response when I saw it earlier this week. Man. You know what is a beautiful thing about life when you get unexpected phone calls from people and they don't know what's going on in your life, but their presence brightens your day. So if you're watching this, Ivan Dawkins, aka King Dawk, brother, when you called me and I answered the phone and the first words out of your mouth were "Cole Sports," that made my day. And the reason why it made my day is that I know that whenever I have a conversation with you, I'm going to get something humorous, something spiritual, and something grounding. And that is what a brother's supposed to give. Now, same thing as with Wize. I've only known you for maybe 7-8 months or so, but you, sir, it feels like I have known you 30 years, and you are a brother to me too. And I'll say this now, whatever you need, brother, I'm here for you. And we have more laughs to share. Thank you, though, for providing me with one. And I so desperately needed it when you called me. So love you, brother. Here's to you. And here's to the many brothers out there who share joy and share love with another brother. And they don't censor themselves for it. And that is Thoughts from the Throne. Any parting words before we break camp, bro?
Big shout out to APizzle, who just sent me a picture of him wearing Stuck in My Mind t-shirt. So big shout out, APizzle.
Man. Oh, APizzle. One of our brothers in podcasting as well. Yeah, he's an awesome figure, and we appreciate all the love he sends us. Yeah, shout out to you, APizzle. Thank you again, man, because you're backing a wonderful show and Stuck in My Mind, and a wonderful podcast host and Wize and Jefe. Well, that will do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed, learned, and felt as though you were seen with this episode. For Wize and Jefe, I'm Cole Johnson. I'm here to remind you that our secret technique is that we always speak with mentality. Till next time.
That's 100.